Hey guys, I'm Mitch,
I'm Austin.
and this is Super Platinum Achievement, and Sony is not done making big purchases. We're in a back and forth now between Sony and Microsoft in acquiring different studios and publishers, and Sony apparently has another big move coming our way. Let's talk about it in just a second. First off, guys, if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps us out. We super appreciate it. Also, if you like this video at the end, make sure to share with your friends and give us a big thumbs up. That helps us out a lot too. So diving right in, we talked about it a few weeks ago that a big possibility was Sony was going to purchase Konami, or
Yeah.
at least Konami's big IPs, being Silent Hill and Metal Gear, the two to speak of there. And we haven't seen an official announcement on that yet. But since then, the rumors surfaced real quick and then died of buying Kojima Productions because Sony changed their PlayStation Studios banner to include Death Stranding on it, which is a PlayStation exclusive game, but it is a Kojima Productions game. So that fueled speculations really quick,
And also,
along with
Kojima Productions left its offices, and which kind of
exactly.
gave credibility that they're moving to a Sony location. So we'll see. It's kind of been quiet since then. That was the beginning of last month that kind of all this was
Yeah,
breaking,
so that
and then
stirred it up. But then
it's been
Hideo Kojima,
silent.
yeah, Hideo Kojima did tweet, "No, we are still independent and will remain independent." But I can still see him working with Sony because they are purchasing the IPs that he helped create.
Yes.
So I think Konami is still a huge possibility and the one that makes the most sense to me. But it's now rumored that Sony is involved in possibly purchasing another one or two. I mean, we don't know. So Microsoft still has obviously all the money in the world to buy whoever they want. However, I think they are going to be put on pause because the FTC is kind of looking into their acquisition of Activision Blizzard. That
Yeah.
being such a huge acquisition, they're not going to be able to make any big moves yet until that one is approved and they can move on to the next step, because then we kind of get into monopoly laws a little bit. That's a whole
Yeah.
other legal thing, but I think Microsoft is kind of on pause for now on who they can acquire, and
And I
Sony
think they
is
were
not
going to be on
because
pause for a while because they have just dropped, billions of dollars in the last couple of years for
mm-hmm.
these big studios, and those studios have yet to produce the games for them to try to make money back. Obviously, Activision Blizzard hasn't really had a chance yet, but Bethesda has, and we'll be seeing that at the end of the year. But I think
Yes.
I think Microsoft's kind of gonna let off the gas a little bit and just kind of wait for their investments to actually unfold finally. So it's been a
Yes.
while. And they
So
obviously they
yeah.
bought a bunch of studios that we still have yet to see as well. So
Yeah, Ninja Theory and such. So, yeah, we'll see what pans out with them. Obviously, Sony did just buy Bungie as well. Not nearly as big of an acquisition, considering Bungie only has one IP to their name at the moment. But still, that was Sony's big
and it's also
acquisition
but Destiny
recently.
is still one of the biggest games played right now. So it's
It
kind of makes
is. It
sense.
is. Yes. So that being said, there are two, actually possibly three options for Sony on the table other than Konami. The first one that I think makes the second most sense, aside from Konami, is Square Enix.
Yes.
So Square Enix recently, we didn't do a video on this unfortunately, but they recently just sold off part of their gaming studios already, being Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal, which include games such as the Tomb Raider franchise and Deus Ex. So that was pretty big. They sold it off to Embracer Group for $300 million, and a lot of
Yeah, and
people are
Embracer Group's the
suspecting.
one that's been kind of picking up studios as well
Yeah,
from
they're
THQ Nordic and Gearbox. So they're kind of become quite a big development group now. So that's kind of
yes,
cool for them. It's kind of a more like a independent style, but obviously they got a lot of power now and control, or not control, but like manpower. That's
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking for.
But yeah, Square Enix makes a lot of sense to me based on just their history with Sony. And Austin and I kind of already talked about this, and we don't think they're going to do what they've done in the past or what Microsoft has done and make certain things exclusive 100%. Sony already does have that huge history of having Square Enix exclusives, one even coming out in October, being Forspoken, and then Final Fantasy 16 is going to be a PlayStation exclusive. So Square Enix is still pumping them out.
But Square Enix also has a huge footing in the Nintendo market.
Exactly.
So we think that if Sony does acquire Square Enix, it's going to be still Sony games and Nintendo games.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be dumb for them to just be like, nope, Sony only, since there is such a big market on the Nintendo for Square Enix games. So
yes, it's been huge.
Yeah.
I do think they're going to cut out Microsoft because Microsoft is a direct competition. And as Austin mentioned to me off camera, we don't really see a lot of Square Enix games on Microsoft anyway.
So
they don't have that history. But yeah, and then the third option that apparently Sony is looking into, and apparently Microsoft has been looking into as well. I don't know if they'd actually be able to pull the trigger, but that's WB Games. It's been made clear that they are going to sell off their studios, but it's a little bit more funky than just that, and it doesn't make as much sense to me. So the rumor is that they are going to sell off their gaming studios, but that doesn't include the licensing to their IPs. So WB would still be owning those licenses and licensing them out to whoever wants to make them. So
games opinion, like Lord of the Rings games, because they have the Shadow War, Shadow of Mordor. So we'll see where they go. Harry Potter. They do have the rights to Mad Max as well. I don't know if we'll see another game in that series, but you never know.
We got the Batman games, our WB.
Oh yeah, Arkham.
Yeah, so we'll see how they work that out with the IPs, because apparently they're not going to sell the IPs with the studio. So to me, it doesn't really make sense for a big company like Sony or Microsoft to purchase these studios when they don't get any games with it, and they just get manpower.
Aren't they doing the Suicide Squad or the?
Yeah, they're doing. They're doing both. Both are.
They are in Arkham Knights. Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it doesn't make as much sense to me because I mean, if I was a big company and I knew that these studios were going to go up for sale, I wouldn't buy the studios. I would just
buy the titles.
I would let them dissolve, and if you wanted more manpower, just I mean, it sounds kind of bad, but you poach their developers from them because those studios are sinking, so there's no reason to buy them. So that one doesn't make sense. The big dark horse in all this, that is a possibility as well, and would be the biggest if it were to happen, is Ubisoft. Ubisoft has said they are up for sale if the right offer comes. Now, apparently, an acquisition group is looking into them, and these are companies that specifically go out and buy other companies to try and make them better, and then they either hold on to them if they're making a good profit, or they turn around and sell them for a 25 to 50% profit a couple of years down the road after they improved them. So they are most likely going to be sold, but then just a week or so ago, apparently the founding family of Ubisoft is now looking at buying it altogether to prevent it from being sold to a big-time publisher.
Yeah, and there's like actually a lot more drama behind that as well. I don't know if it not the average gamer I think knew about what was going on with Ubisoft several years ago, but they kind of fought off Vivendi for a hostile takeover, and actually the family, the Ubisoft original family, are the ones that actually stepped up and prevented that from happening. So they're pretty. They keep their company really close to them, so it'd be kind of a big deal for them to sell it. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, they went to this hostile take. It was like a 4-year process of putting board members in the right place and getting the right amount of shares, and just to keep their company, because they were almost in danger of having their company bought out from under them. So.
Yeah.
If you care, it's actually a kind of an interesting, fun story if you want to go research that. But it's crazy. So Ubisoft's an interesting company, and it would be kind of a
Yeah.
cool purchase for Sony to pull this off, because definitely could see a
It'd be
good home for
huge.
them in the Sony library, and that would be kind of a big deal in the market, and be definitely a good counterpunch to Activision or Bethesda for sure.
Yeah, and I think that would be the biggest acquisition of them all. I mean, obviously they're not as profitable as Call of Duty, but as far as the amount of IPs to Ubisoft's
Ubisoft's
name
got a
is
ton of games. They've
huge.
kind of mastered the whole open world game lately.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
Far Cry,
they own a pretty
Watch
good
Dogs,
part of the market.
Assassin's
for gaming.
Creed. Yeah. But if Sony did go down that route, I don't think those games would be exclusive. I think they would do exactly what Microsoft is doing with Activision, and just benefit off the profits, and then add it to their upcoming streaming service.
Yeah.
And
Or
have all
we
the
could see,
Ubisoft games on
existing
there.
titles like Far Cry, Assassin's Creed go multi-platform, but new IPs will be Sony exclusive.
Very possible, yeah.
You never know, because they want to obviously have, the reason why you buy a bunch of money is to try to pull more people into your platform, and if
Mm-hmm.
you're selling everywhere, it's not as much, but obviously you're still getting money from that. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and at that point, I think it becomes a streaming war service, because then they could take away any, because right now there's a few Assassin's Creed games on Game Pass. They could take them away from there, put them just on PlayStation Plus, whatever tier they decide to put it on.
Or maybe they add Uplay Plus or whatever into a tier of the PlayStation streaming service.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be the
Or
other
just a whole
interesting is,
new tier, who knows?
Ubisoft does have a pretty big market on PC as well.
Yes.
So, we'll see how that would work out. Yeah, maybe you pay or maybe it just gets included in another on your tier, like tier 2 or tier 3 for your Sony thing, that you get, Uplay Plus as well.
Yeah, Ubisoft Plus, whatever it's called. I think it's still called Ubisoft Plus. I've got it on my PC.
Is it? I thought
you
I
get,
thought it was Uplay Plus. Oh well, I don't know.
and you get all the. I think it makes it EA, because there's EA Play. There's
No,
and it used to be, but yeah, Ubisoft Plus. But yeah, I don't know if they'd include everything. Who knows? I don't think that's a huge likelihood. I think we're looking more at Konami or Square Enix being a possibility. But Sony has told us, Jim Ryan, I should say, has told us Sony is not done making big purchases.
Big, yeah.
even
He
after
emphasized
Bungie.
big purchases.
Yes,
and that was
even
after
Jeff Grubb came out.
That was after Bungie too. So
yes.
they're working on something.
And even Jeff Grubb recently came out, who is kind of an Xbox fanboy, and he said that he's heard a lot of rumors that Square Enix is the one that's going to come to be. And even after the rumors of Kojima Productions came out, I believe it was him who said, I've heard rumors, and Sony's purchase is going to be even bigger than Kojima Productions. So
Yeah,
in
I
order
can
to
see
be
the Square
bigger than
Enix
that,
as a strong possibility.
and it makes sense.
And then, you
Square
never know,
Enix has
Ubisoft
struggled with
could-
their...
They could do
Yeah,
it. You
it's
never
possible,
know. If
but-
they get the right amount of billions of dollars, they might think it's a good idea.
Yeah. But Square Enix has struggled recently with sales in their games. That's why they sold off those studios, and now I think they would hand over the other ones to Sony, because Square Enix games haven't done so hot on every platform. And like you said, Nintendo's kind of been their cash cow recently. So,
It'd be dumb for them
we'll
to
see.
cut them out. So, but I can see Sony doing a good job with them, since we do
Yes,
kind of get
makes
to see
sense.
a lot of Square Enix games on the Sony platform. So
yeah, tell us what you guys think. What publisher or studio makes the most sense for Sony to buy? Do you think it's going to be any of them? Do you think Microsoft is going to come in and get their Activision thing approved real quick, and then swoop in and use all the money they own and all the land to buy something out from underneath Sony, because they have said they want to expand their Japan market, and something like Konami or Square Enix would be definitely in that realm. Let us know what you guys think, what studio you think is the best fit. If you like this video, make sure to give us a big thumbs up, share this video with your friends, hit that subscribe button, and we sure do hope to see you again on
Super Platinum Achievement.
We'll see you guys.
Bye.